Bitches in the future?
This is Wheel of Fortune, Joe!
Bitcoin is the future.
Yeah, that's it.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Now, we need to talk about something that has finally officially just happened. Now, check this out, guys. So we have the NASDAQ, all right? From top to bottom, the NASDAQ is officially down 29%. This means anything over 20%, we are in a bear market traditionally in stocks. So the NASDAQ is in fact in a bear market, and the S&P for the first time, which is the one that we usually track, I do prefer the S&P personally when I'm trying to compare to Bitcoin, has also officially fallen over 20%. Now, it did close around 19.5%, so technically it was able to kind of, secure its position above that 20% bear market, but we have seen the fact that Bitcoin has been incredibly correlated to the stocks. Bitcoin actually is looking to close its 8th red weekly candle, and if we actually have a look over here, the Dow Jones has closed down 8 consecutive weeks. This has not happened in 90 years. So we need to talk about this correlation between Bitcoin and stocks. And if stocks do continue to sell off, will Bitcoin continue to get hit? And actually, an even bigger question is, will this correlation eventually end? In fact, just recently, although Bitcoin has been correlated, we've kind of seen Bitcoin doing slightly different percentage moves compared to what we've seen in the S&P recently, right? So what I want to go over today, and it's going to be a little bit shorter video than usual. Obviously, there's no real news to talk about. But what I wanted to discuss was a lot of people talking about this bottom level for Bitcoin, and we've heard some crazy predictions of, 20K, 10K, 3K for a Bitcoin price. Just simply looking at it mathematically, what could be the ultimate fake out level, the level that would truly catch everybody off guard, right? Because everyone's expecting these numbers, and usually if everyone's expecting it, well, they are usually not correct, right? That's how markets tend to work. So that's what I want to focus on today. And finally, guys, was Luna a Ponzi? Because there's now more information that's come out, not from my words, but we're going to talk about it. So we're also going to go over the short-term Bitcoin chart. If you actually are looking to put in a few trades, there could be a potential trade setup actually happening right now, and I will let you know if I'm going to take it and how I'm going to play it. So if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, definitely consider it. And without further ado, let's dive into the Bitcoin chart. Now, I wanted to point something out really incredible right here. So if we actually look at this Bitcoin log trend, you can actually see from where we had this peak right here, and we follow this out. Okay, right here, we kind of had this blast through moment, right? But I did notice that we had this point right here of contact, and look, we continued the trend right here, and look what happened, guys. As soon as we fell through it, we absolutely tanked. Now, on the flip side, what we do have is this structure that was being built right here, and you might be saying to yourself, well, what about this down here? Guys, don't forget, this was the COVID crash, right? This was an actual black swan event, the same way that you could say the Terra Luna issue was a black swan event. So if we just sort of scribble this out, right? Because it was a black swan event, COVID, pretend that this didn't even happen. I do wonder if Bitcoin would have continued on this trend that we had started here, because look at all of this support that we put in here through all these weeks. These are multiple weeks, my friends, of support. And once we got completely off of it, guys, look at where we came down and perfectly touched, all right? Or at least damn close touched it. You could see right here. That was amazing, guys. That was virtually a perfect touch, maybe just off by a few dollars, right? Literally just a few dollars off. So this is making me wonder if we actually have touch the bottom if this trend is sort of complete to the downside. And what is also quite interesting that Bitcoin Fuel pointed out, and I don't have the charts pulled up, but you could see he drew it right here for us. If we actually look at what the NASDAQ has done, it's also supported on this trend, of course, excluding the COVID crash. And the Dow Jones, same exact thing. Following this trend right here, touching the bottom, we had the COVID crash. So sort of if we erase this, it does look like maybe everything is falling into play and we could be putting in that base. However, there are some people saying that we could go lower. For example, Robert Kiyosaki, who says he still does remain bullish on Bitcoin, says he's waiting for a test of 20K, 14K, 11K, 9K. Why do I remain bullish? Fed and Treasury are corrupt organizations. They will self-destruct before they regain honesty, integrity, and moral compass. Take care, be aware. Two things we can say real quick. Number one, the history of the Fed is essentially they say they're going to do something, they do it for a little bit, and then they stop doing it. Their words are not very reliable. We know that they are not most likely going to get inflation back to neutral levels. They may remain a bit hawkish for a little bit as, the months go by, maybe towards the end of the year, but ultimately they are not going to want to have the catastrophic outcome, a recession, or even worse, we could have stagflation, right? Stagflation could see a recession combined with inflation as well, and that would be terrible all around, right? And one of the reasons that you're seeing a lot of retail drop out specifically from Bitcoin is not just simply because they have weak hands and they're panicking, but they're also dealing with these higher prices, right? Food is going up. In fact, I want to show you something. This is really crazy, guys. This is a side note. I wasn't even going to show you this, but just bear with me. We'll get back to Robert Kiyosaki's predictions. But if you guys go over to reddit.com or you go to r/shrinkflation, shrinkflation is basically, so some people are saying like, oh no, like these prices are still the same. It's not really inflation. But what they're doing is they're making the packages smaller. You could see right here. So this is the exact same price, Folgers, coffee, except you could see right here, if we zoom in, that there's actually less in here than there was over here. Those 400 cups of coffee are going to be kind of weak with the 7.5 fewer ounces, don't you think? Scrolling down here, you can see more examples. Look at this. Same exact price from Tetley, right? Except over here, you had 420 tea bags, and now there's only 400. So there is a lot of this sort of inflation being hidden, right? Where some people maybe aren't seeing it. Same, Folgers right here, Scott's tissues. Look at this, 128 versus 148. Lots of examples in here of shrinkflation. Look at how small that Snickers bar is. I remember how big they used to be, one less roll, right, in the cotton. Now, you could just go through here all day. There's so many different things, different sizes. Look at the size of the honey bun. Look at how much smaller this is than this, right? Same size packaging, same price, but smaller honey bun, right? So this would be the very bad scenario of essentially having stagflation, but I know you guys are here for the charts, but it's kind of interesting, right? Because a lot of people, if you've even noticed, like they're putting less cream in the Oreos, it's getting out of control, right? So let's talk about these prices realistically, right? Well, the thing that we have been speaking about right now, and this is why I put out that emergency video a few days ago, and it was because it sort of is an emergency. I mean, you could see right here, this is the absolute, support for Bitcoin, essentially, that we have had ever since we started building structure back here in December of 2020. And look at how many times we've had a weekly test here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? And then look what we did right here, guys. We fell through it. We came and closed back above it. And currently we're sitting on this level right now. So this is sort of a very, dangerous area for Bitcoin to be, right? You could argue that this is the danger zone. So let's say hypothetically that stocks do continue to fall and Bitcoin continues to fall with it. Well, something very interesting, and this is sort of what I consider in a weird way to be my sort of ultimate fake out, right? So a lot of people are saying 200 weekly moving average, right? Where's that sitting? I think today it's 21,900 or something like that, right? We also know that you have just the $20,000 previous cycle. So 20,000 to 22,000. There's a lot of people anticipating Bitcoin going to those levels, right? Now, here's the first scenario. What if it doesn't go to those levels? What if everybody's waiting with cash on side and it doesn't go to those levels? Well, more than likely, if we do continue to see the stocks falling, it will go to that level. But where could we potentially see that decoupling for Bitcoin? So I'm essentially just going to use a Fibonacci retracement tool right now. Now, you guys have been watching my video, and in the past, I usually go from the tops to the bottom, right? I take the previous cycle, and this lets us know where we are for this cycles, and then where we could be heading, right? So we're just having fun with this. We're just playing with this, right? So assuming that the COVID crash was the bottom, which is quite extreme, right? Black swan event, and assuming that, this 69,000 is the top, something quite extreme, right? We only went there for a little bit. So we're talking extremes here. But if we just look at what's been happening in the middle, you can actually see this insane confluence at the 0.618 right here. And you can see that the 0.618 is sitting at around 28,761. And you can see this is really where our white line has lined up, right? Right here. You see right here, we draw this across. Then this is essentially the level that we've been bouncing off of. Now, what if we fall below this level? Well, actually, guys, if you look right here, we have the 0.786, or it could be the 0.23, depending on which way you're doing it. I just flipped it this way for fun. But ultimately, you can see that there was some consolidation there. Look at that, guys. We did, in fact, consolidate on that level for a little bit. So if Bitcoin was to have the ultimate fake out, right? We were to go below 20,000, freak everyone out. Now the bears are getting excited, right? They're saying, yes, I'm going to get my $10,000 Bitcoin. I'm going to get my $7,000, my $3,000 Bitcoin. What we could actually see is the massive capitulation event, right? Where, I still think we have a potential to bounce back up here, potentially to the $33,000 to $36,000 level. So let's just say, we do something like that, right? Let's say we come back up here, which I do think we're gonna bounce. I don't think we're just gonna go straight down. That would be absolutely crazy. And then we do start to come down. People are getting scared. Uh-oh, guys, we're losing it. And capitulation wick. Now, what level does that take us to right here? What is that level? That level is sitting at $17,800. Now, what would that level do? That level would get the bears excited, right? So they'd start putting their shorts in because they're like, okay, we're going down. It would get the bulls freaked out, or the retail investors freaked out, like, oh my goodness, we just lost 20,000. And then we would have that true capitulation where you actually could see a multiple $1,000 candle, somewhere 17,800, all the way back up here, a 66% move or something like that, back up to around 29,500. And that essentially could kickstart the beginning of the bull run. Now, you might be saying, that's an incredible move. Guys, do you remember the President Xi pump that we had back in 2018 when Bitcoin, went up like 42% in a day, only basically to just instantly retrace, right? Crazy stuff has happened. And these are the types of things that you see in capitulation events. I mean, on this candle that we had here alone, that was a 23% move just from 25 to 31. Okay. And that happened in the week. So why couldn't we see a 66% move off the bottom, fake everyone out, shake everyone out? Altcoins look like they're dying. Retail is crying. Bears are confident, only to get wrecked by the end of the week. And those bulls that did finally capitulate, would that not be what everybody waited for? So that's why I'm saying the ultimate fake out could be down to that $17,800 level. We would perfectly connect right here with the 0.786. And, we did have that confluence right here with the consolidation. You could see we consolidated at that area. So something interesting to talk about. This is very, very extreme. I took the absolute bottom. I took the absolute top. But it is very crazy to see that even doing this, you see this 0.618 right here. Right? So that is something that I definitely wanted to talk about. Now, talking a little bit about the short term, what are we doing right now? So there were a few different patterns that I thought we were forming. Now we actually do have confirmation on this. It is definitely a descending triangle with a bear fake out here, because this is where we had the capitulation, which I don't think that was actually capitulation. What I really think it was the fear over what was happening with Terra Luna and UST, because we didn't see that kind of fear, reflected in the other markets. But ultimately, we are forming this pattern. So the area to watch right now, we're actually sitting at a bit of a neutral zone right now, but the lower levels right here are sitting at around 28,600. So if you're looking to long these levels, now some people like to play breakouts, right? They say, oh, if it goes down here, I'm shorting. I don't like doing that because it doesn't make sense to short the support and long the resistance. You should be doing the opposite. You should be longing the support and shorting the resistance, right? There is a higher, of course, you're really gambling either way, right? When you're using leverage, that's what you're doing. Basically, you're taking a risk, but it makes more sense. There's a less risk involved if you long the bottom. So I would personally be looking for a long, somewhere around a fake out of 28,637. Okay, in the ballpark, it could wick below it, but that would be the area to long. And currently right now, the area to short, the area to short kind of already happened, but that area now would be around $30,000, right? Now, I still anticipate that we are going to have a breakout. Now, just to put it into perspective, if we do break down to the lower side, the area we're looking to retest is right here, where we wick down here, right? This $26,600 level. If we do break out to the upside, which I am anticipating we will break out to the upside before we break down to the downside, I don't anticipate another breakdown before a move up. It could happen. It could happen. It could come all the way down here again, and then essentially you just put in a double bottom. That's a possibility. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I just think at this point with these oversold conditions, it would be more likely to actually fake out, some of these short-term bulls, trap them, and not to mention the fact that we also still have the CME futures gap up here. We attempted to close the one down here. We didn't even attempt to close this one yet. So that one, in order to close, you would have to go back to $35,000. Now, if you take that from the bottom to the top right there, that's a 20% move. So if you're using 5x leverage, which it's not really crazy high, but it's still a little bit dangerous if you're a beginner. Honestly, 3x is probably, if you're a beginner, 33%, and we've seen Bitcoin move 33%, right? But that would be 100%. So that move alone could literally get you 100%. If you longed with one Bitcoin, you could make one whole Bitcoin longing that move, right? So it's a possibility. If you want to learn how to trade, check out the tutorial popping up above. There's over $16,000 in bonuses, but I also highly recommend that you just watch these videos, because I go over these, resistance and supports all the time on these videos, and I let you know exactly the levels that I'm interested in getting involved in. So, I'm never going to tell you to long, I'm never going to tell you to short, but recently, basically what we had been saying was, you have to be shorting the resistances, and I mean, that's essentially what you're getting. You could be long in the bottom at this point, but we are coming to the end, of this area. So, if you miss this whole move, then just sit it out. Just wait, don't take a trade on this. Wait and see where we break, and then we'll reestablish it from there. But that is something worth noting. And, another thing worth noting is that the DXY actually has pulled down from this high, and we are seeing that we are below this previous resistance level at around 103.87. So we are heading back potentially down towards the 100 level. Now, if we do come back down here, there is a potential chance that we do see the dollar break down, even just in the short term. I know that they're hawkish. I know they're going to raise rates, but I'm just saying short term, we could see it. And if that would happen, you would see an inverse relationship with stocks and Bitcoin, and we would get that little rally that we're looking for, right? Now, as I said, if we did fall into this bear zone, if we did go down, into that $17,000 kind of fake out area, only to come all the way back up, to the high 28s, how long could it take to recover and get back to the level that we lost the 600 daily, which, by the way, is sitting at around $41,000? Well, my estimate would be right here, if we take this distance right here that we had this previous bear market, of course, nothing's going to be exactly the same, right? And we just, place it over here, you could see that puts us around the week of November 14th to potentially have Bitcoin around $41,000 again, which is basically, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that you could literally have from now until the beginning of November to accumulate Bitcoin under $40,000, wherever it goes. If it goes to 3, if it goes to 7, if it goes to 20, if it goes to wherever it goes. I'm not trying to pick the bottom here. I'm just saying you could have until November of this year to literally buy Bitcoin at these levels. So in my opinion, not financial advice, if you truly do believe in Bitcoin long term, I believe that this year should become the year of the side hustle, the year of putting in those extra hours at work, right? It's going to be tough while it's going on, but if you can get that extra capital, you can get that extra 10 or 20% even, just a little bit extra, and you could be dollar cost averaging or building a cash position. Maybe you are waiting for those lower levels. I do believe that we could be back over 41,000 by November, and I did still say 55,000 was possible by the end of this year. And if we do get to 41,000 by November, and we do have that bullish momentum, going from 41 to 55 is completely possible. It is possible to have a $55,000 Bitcoin by Christmas. And the funny thing is I just said we could have a $17,000 Bitcoin before that. So when you really look at the risk versus reward and the opportunity right now, the opportunity is on your side, okay? So you have to look at this through a different lens. Don't be upset about the bear market. Don't be upset about what's happening. Look at this opportunity and be thankful that you have this opportunity, because we may never get this opportunity again. And personally, I believe that once we break out of this zone, especially this zone up here, I mean, look at all of this accumulation in this area. right in here, so much in this area right here. Actually, if, hold on, let me just get this out of here and let me change this. If we actually, wait, let me get it back to auto 1 second. Why is it not? Guys, help me. What's going on? Why is it not? All right, I'm just going to change it manually. Oh, trading view. Anyway, so you see this level right here? You see right here? Where did the VPR? I think my computer's bugging out right now. What is happening? Hold on, guys. This is embarrassing. I'm going to leave this in, though, just so you guys can see. By the way, if you do want to use TradingView, I do have a link below, guys. You can trade on these charts. There we go. This is what I was trying to get right here. So that red line that essentially just disappeared on me for some strange reason. There we go. Wow. Anyway, so you guys can see right here, massive accumulation zone, right? So that's sitting at around $38,680. So the point is there was so much interest in Bitcoin at this level that I think once we get back above that $38,000 level and then get back to that $41,000 level that I told you guys about, I don't think we'll ever come back to this level again unless it's just to tap it, just a quick tap, just to make sure that we're going to have it as support. So essentially, if you take anything away from what I said today, which I did say today's video is going to be short, and I lied as usual because I like talking, then yes, guys, you have potentially until November to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible before Bitcoin breaks through this area, of around 38,000 and then potentially never ever falls below it again. So that is that. Now, I do just want to end on a little bit of Terra Luna news because why? I guess we have to talk about it, but CZ, he's the CEO over at Binance. He actually said that the incident was regrettable, but he said theoretically speaking, when you peg to one asset using a different asset as collateral, there will always be a chance for under-collateralization or depegging. Even if it's over-collateralized by 10x, the collateralized asset can crash more than 10x. Nothing is 100% stable relative to something else in this world. He also added that the most stupid decision a project can make is thinking that minting more of an asset can increase its total value. CZ explained that the minting of more Luna only exacerbated the situation, seeing as the solution only diluted the value for existing token holders. Now, where else have we seen printing money out of, Anyway, so it actually gets a little crazier. So the Seoul Southern District Prosecutor's Office in Korea is investigating whether it can bring charges of a Ponzi scheme against Terraform's Labs CEO Do Kwon. So looking into charging Terraform's Labs founder with running a Ponzi scheme using the Anchor protocol, a type of crypto bank where depositors can earn up to 20% yields annually for staking Terra, Kwon's remarks promising returns could provide a key clue. A prosecutor told the Korea Herald. When funds from new investors run out, the Ponzi scheme collapses. FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried recently described yield farming as a Ponzi scheme as well. Now, was it an actual Ponzi? I'm not 100% sure. Was it intentional? Well, it's weird because he came out and he said it was a coincidence that just 3 days before Terraform's Labs was dissolved. That's a hell of a coincidence if you ask me. I mean, that's a glaringly, concerningly coincidental situation. But that being said, 20% yields is pretty damn high when you think about it. Like, where can you get that anywhere else in the real world? And another thing is the fact that he promised that the returns would keep providing. The founder of a project, if you are the CEO, you really shouldn't be talking about like price targets or, what you can make. You're really not supposed to do that. So that could also feed into it as well. Just wanted to mention that. But of course, getting back to Bitcoin, we have seen Bitcoin dominance has been going up. This is because of the fear. What did happen with Luna? Altcoins have fallen quite hard to Bitcoin, which is why I'll say it again for the 1,000th time. Altcoins should be small percentages of your portfolio, okay? If you get 100x off of $1,000, great. But if you lose $1,000, it could suck. It could be hard, to build that back up. But you also could lose it all, right? Whereas with Bitcoin, we understand that the protocol is safe. We know the hash rate continues to go up, even though it might be down a little bit today. It is the most secure network on planet Earth, and it is where big investors are going to come. When we have the Bitcoin spot ETF, when we have the sovereign wealth funds, when we have these big wealthy families coming into Bitcoin, these, legacy, wealthy Saudi, princes, right? Those guys over, right? So that is really, they're going to go to Bitcoin. That's where they're going to go. It has the most liquidity, right? And having a look right here, you know, obviously we're still just sort of trading in that no man's area, that sort of bear market area between the 600 daily and the 200 weekly, right? Like we did here. And, you know, that's what we're doing right now. So we could be trading in here for a while. November, you know, we could see Bitcoin finally get back above these levels. And, you know, ultimately, I know that I just left this with bullish drawing. It doesn't mean that we're going to break out to the upside, but I would pay attention to it. You know, if you are looking along this again, guys, you know, the area is 28,637 down here. We may not tap it. That would be the area for the long, and the area for the short would be, you know, around 30,000, but it might be a little bit lower by the time we get to it. But like I said, if you guys want to like draw these on charts yourself, just go download TradingView. It's absolutely free. I do have a link below if you guys want to use it. But that's essentially it for me today, guys. So I hope you found some value out of this video. If you are looking to trade this, I do recommend, if you're new, to use a paper account first, or if you want, you can use the links below and you can get essentially free Bitcoin or free USDT to trade with based on your deposit. You can't withdraw it, but you can trade with it. You can get up to 4,000 on Femex and Bybit and 7,000 on Prime XBT right now. So take advantage of that. It's free money. You can trade with it. And if you do make a profit, then you can actually keep that profit. And if you lose it, well, then it doesn't really matter because it was free anyway, right? So that being said, guys, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Hope you guys are having fun. Could be a long summer. Could be a long summer and fall, but you know I'll be here. Hopefully you'll still keep coming back. I love you guys. You're awesome. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. And of course, if you haven't checked out these videos popping up right here, right now, check it out. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.